of thousands of dollars, as just as a reference point, like what are some of the typical costs someone that, if they didn't go the free route, if they didn't do this and they wanted to pay for this media exposure, like what would they be looking to invest?
So typically on television ads, 30-second ads to 2-minute, in that time range can run on a local small network anywhere from $500 to thousands of dollars. So most segments that you get are several minutes. So you're looking at thousands of dollars of value there. If you hire an actual PR or marketing agency, typically a retainer for those type of agencies start around $1,500 a month. So and that's really for them just to do the email and the process for you. Now, granted, it does help to have people who have connections. That does get you in the door quicker, but that doesn't mean you can't build those connections on your own. It's going to take longer, but I can tell you, out of 12 years of booking morning guests for our show, I never once looked at their follower count. I never once looked if their profile was pretty and perfect. I never looked at those things. I looked at, do they know what the hell they're talking about? Are they going to show up on time? Are they going to make my job easier? And oh my God, they're feeding me.
And they brought food.
They brought food again. Oh, I love them. So it's honestly, we overcomplicate everything in life. Same with media. It's not that complicated. It's just a very, again, fitness industry is underserved in a way, like they feel like they get run into the ground. People who work in television as well. And if you're looking at magazines, I mean, you could pay for ads. You can pay $10,000 to $30,000 for an ad.
You can pay a lot, and even if you get featured, like I've had 5 covers, I didn't get paid for them. So most people think a cover model, you get paid absolutely $0. And unless you have, like we talked about, a simple pipeline or where you drive people, you cannot utilize that to the best of your abilities of being on a cover for a month. And if you don't have something that you can drive people from, you've lost any amount of income that you could have gotten from that. So if anyone's listening that gets a publication, make sure you have something that you can offer that magazine or whatever it is, that so you can grab your ideal client, where a webinar or something, just send them to that one thing. So you're not having to create all these new things every single time you get a publication or something. It's just one thing. And it's just out of sight, out of mind, you're sending them there. But if you don't have something, you've just lost out on a great opportunity.
Yeah, you're wasting your time. I mean, and you're not going to get a ton of people from television. People think that all the time. You're not going to get a lot of people, but you are going to get, we'll call it street cred. You're going to get, you're going to be solidified as a expert in your field by doing so.
And so that's why
we do television, magazines, again, and you should have something set up for all of them, even podcasts. If you're going onto a podcast, have something that you can send people to. And for the love of God, make it simple. Stop using 15 words in your web, your website, and having a ton of hyphens and periods and the number 4. And then, don't do that. Make it simple, because these people are listening while they're living their lives. They're not watching. They're just listening. So if you don't have something that they can recall quickly, they're not going to find you. So keep it simple.
Excellent. And so as we start to wrap up a little bit, we still have a few good questions that I got prepped for you guys. But I noticed on some of the content that you guys are posting, you're launching a brand image academy January 1st, 2022. Maybe you guys could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we do our retreats so people can come to Tulum and Arizona, Toronto and Virginia. And what we realized is it's great to get that content, but what are we doing to prepare for it beforehand, whether you go to ours or you do your own photo shoot? And then afterwards, how are you converting? So we basically created a 3-step proprietary system that helps people identify who their MVP is, how they actually attract them through their photo shoots, and literally what type of photos they're going to have, what type of props they're going to use, how they're going to speak in front of the camera, and using intros and getting some serious help from Kristen. And then the conversion part, step 3, where you have the photos. So now we've got to design them, put them out online, and then see what's working and what's not, and continually readjust and launch. So that's a 1-year program where people do the work, they watch the videos, they get to do the worksheets. And then literally we have calls almost every day in the week where they can join in and literally get one-to-one coaching. So if there's 5 people on that call, each person might get 10 minutes where everyone else is muted, and they literally will pull up their worksheet and go through exactly what they need help on, instead of just doing Zoom calls where it's just group chats and really it's just passive listening. So it's all about taking action and taking action individually, so they're getting the results they need for their business.
Mhm.
Excellent. Well, I
Yeah.
hope people, for those who are interested, we'll put some notes in our show links, of course. So if they do want to go learn more about that prior to it launching, they'll be able to see that.
Mhm.
And we always like to do some roundup questions here. So put you guys a little bit on the spot.
Okay.
So in terms of advice, what would you guys say is some of the best advice either one of you or both of you have received?
Ooh. Okay, I'll do my mom's because this is the one I love to use.
Mom's always a good one.
My mom's quite a worker bee. So the one that I was taught very early at a very young age was she had a sign above our door that said, you can't build your reputation on what you're going to do. So your reputation is built on what you've done and what you are what you're taking action on. So it was really stop dreaming about the future and actually do the work. And that's what I learned as a kid. And that has driven me through every career I've had to accelerate it to the next one. So I think if anybody, just do it. Stop waiting and just do it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a super good one.
Mom's the best, right?
Mom's got it going on.
Moms know. I would say just honestly, the best advice was listening to your heart and your gut. Like your intuition's there for a reason. And I would say second is don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that I made things a lot more difficult for myself for many years by thinking I'll just do it all myself. And literally the day I said, you know what, I'm going to invest in myself and pay a heck of a lot of money for an exceptional coach. That was the help I needed because it actually started me to realize that other people can invest in my coaching. And until I was able to invest a significant amount, how the heck am I going to ask somebody else to invest that amount back? So I would say anybody listening, if you're afraid to invest money, you need to start doing that because that's likely why you're not getting the return back in your business.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Let's, what kind of books would you recommend for our listeners or viewers?
I love books.
Jill, let's preface this. I'm the creative side of the business. So I'm mostly whatever's digital I'm looking at. And I like any book that actually is more on branding, like build your brand story, those kind of things. So I like
anything. I what you want, like crime, like I read everything. Like I've got some like personality disorder when it comes to books. But I would say the best book for people on this podcast to listen to, whether you're a male or female, although it's for females, is Burnout. And it was The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily Narzowski, I think. As women, we are givers, right? We have this helper giver syndrome. We constantly want to give, but we're not kind of putting ourselves a priority. And that book literally changed the way I thought about running a business and making sure that I take care of myself. So yeah, Burnout, it might change the way you think about yourself. Okay. So definitely I've read that a few times.
Nice. And then final one, do you guys have any mentors or people you look to for inspiration, whether that's in the fitness industry or out of it?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh. Mentors in. There's a lot of people I look up to in the fitness industry in general. Gosh, that's a good one. I still look up to I would say my mom as well, because I always look up to her in that regard, because she was a phenomenal athlete and built a business on her own with no support. So that's one of my big ones for a non-known figure.
Yeah. I would say for even just we could say Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, and I think that they've got great stuff. I'm not saying they don't. I would say a couple mentors is the people in our program. Like in our academy, our photographers and videographers are absolutely outstanding. And I learn a lot from them. And Yuri, our health coach, like he's really kind of helped us segue forward. But I usually say it's the people that are under the wire and they don't say, hey, can I work with you? And then post about you and then shining bright, you're my great student. I don't like those types of people. So we usually have mentors that will never even mention that we work with them. And I think that's who I like to resonate to.
They don't have to be the one that everyone knows.
No, we've been very fortunate to be with a lot of great people. And again, they're people that are very specific to what they do. And when people come to us and they ask for advice on certain things, we know where to send them of who we've worked with. based on their personality. But I hate blanketing that, because a lot of things, it's very specific to who you need. Same with a personal trainer. Like I never blanket and say this is the best of anybody, because I don't think everybody fits everyone. So I think there's very specific types of people that go with types of needs. So I like to field those on an individual basis of, if I say, okay, who would I need to work with? Then I'll go through my list of people in my head, my Rolodex. But yeah, I can't do that as a blanket statement.
All good, all good.
That's the most political answer I think I've ever given.
That was
So
very
maybe
political.
I should run next year. I should totally run for something. All right.
I'll vote for you.